and I'm very happy to see all of you here. And my brother Pete Leslie already thanked for many of you, so I'm not going to do it again. But anyway, thanks for coming. And I mentioned a lot of people we had thanked before, and there are two very important people I need to mention and thank them for helping us. One is Pete Conroy, and I wish all of you know Pete Conroy. And he is the man who has given us this building. He's the man who's doing everything for us. I won't go into his accolades, I won't go into his accomplishments because we know, but if we wouldn't have Pete Conroy, we wouldn't have this set up here. So I'm going to introduce to you Pete Conroy, good friend of mine. You can't find a better man. Pete? Well, thank you.
I'm just telling Klaus, it's very, very hard to compete with a cookie. The fact that any of you are here right now must only mean one thing. You've already had your cookies. My name is Pete Conroy. I work at Jacksonville State University, which is the school up the street, and some of you know it well, some of you attended. And but in any case, we have a lot of projects, and what we're trying to do is boost tourism in Northeast Alabama by telling stories about our past. And there's no more applicable story to tell than the story of prisoners of war during World War II. And you are coming back together and reuniting once a year here. Is testament to the interesting stories that we have to tell in Alabama. Some of the things that we've done outside of historical preservation involve natural preservation, and we've turned the mountain range on the other side of the hill here into a national wildlife refuge. To the north, we've turned a canyon into a national park. Then to the north also, we've turned Douglas Mountain into a wilderness. We're working to build buildings. We have Little River Canyon Center in Fort Payne, which is about a $20 million building that's just filled with life and activities. Yesterday, we conducted something called an international celebration. And it's interesting, and some of you should have been there, because it's an annual event where around the world, at this very same moment, people start telling stories. They don't have to be true, and but they tell stories at the same time. And so we hosted the Alabama version of the celebration, as people were doing the same thing in Australia and Paris and so on and so forth. And to the south of Heflin, we just opened what's called the Mountain Center, which is another building, and it's on I-20, and it's a place where people can learn about the wilderness areas and the forests and animals and whatnot. We have another project, and Mayor Vaughn Stewart is very much involved with that as well. But have you heard of the Freedom Riders? The Freedom Riders, of course, in 1961, were testing new federal law to see if the interstates were actually open to all races. And in Anniston, unfortunately, the bus was burned and on Mother's Day, and it was a horrible symbol of racism. And but Anniston was different. Instead of supporting the KKK and all of those activities, Anniston, Alabama went the other direction, and within weeks had integrated the library. It was a very positive thing. And so at the very spot where the bus was burned, we're now building a park dedicated to peace and understanding. Very much like what we're all doing here today. We're dedicating a day each year to peace and understanding, and that's a beautiful thing. But this building is the Monteith Amphitheater, and it was built in 1937, exactly where you're sitting. Joe Louis did prize fights, Billy Graham would preach, Marlene Dietrich would sing, Lauren Bacall would do whatever it was that Lauren Bacall did. We had Eisenhower here, Truman here, and there was even an act of integration, Buffalo Soldier ceremonies. Lots and lots of interesting things have happened here, but this hillside, we are slowly transforming it into a place where the Alabama Symphony will play exactly where you're sitting. And in April, we'll have jazz concerts, steel drum band concerts, and so we hope you'll come back and kind of keep an eye on this. This is where the curtains will hang, the lights will shine. Internationally known architect. You heard of I'm just talking about this, but I.M. Pei, the architect that did the Louvre in Paris, his partner, Harry Cobb, who is 92 now, really has taken an interest in this building. And he said to me, you could see fabric tinting radiating out from the stage, projecting the sound and the history of the venue. And so someday, maybe just a year from now, you'll be on that stage with fabric tinting, so on and so forth. But right now, having you here is what's most important, and we hope to see you again next year, and we also hope that the cookies will come next year. Thank you.